what's up? I'm Amin Dhillon, and welcome to my podcast. I'm sitting down with the movers and shakers and the stars to chat about life, love, business, and being a total boss. It's raw, it's candid, it's the stories behind the headlines. This is In Conversation. Welcome to the show. I'm Amin Dhillon, and today I'm sitting down with someone who I consider one of the nicest people in show business. Now, he's been singing since the tender age of 3, and ever since then, his success has led him to perform all around the world to sold-out venues. He's here today for a very exclusive chat with me. I'm sitting down with the very talented Punjabi singer, songwriter, actor, and poet, Satinder Sartaaj. Sir, it's so good to have you here. How are you?
I'm perfectly fine, thank you, Amin, and thank you to calling me the nicest person in show business.
You are.
That's a great compliment, actually.
Yeah, no, you are. And
Thank
I
you.
hope your fans get that too, because you're very nice on screen and when we see you on the stage. But in person, when I met you last summer,
Yeah.
I was so touched at how professional you were, so accommodating. You had no airs about you. So that's why I was like, wow, you are just so humble. And so that's why I think you are owed this title, nicest person.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's so lovely. It's so heartwarming for me, honestly. And yeah, here I am. And after a year, it was 21st of July when The Black Prince released theatrically globally. And there was a huge success and lots of wishes and love and affection we grabbed throughout the globe, especially from Punjabis, Indians, and who understand Hindi, Punjabi, and obviously the film made in English. So there's very much audience involved in the English film also. So it's just thank you.
When was your first actual professional stage performance? Do you remember? What age were you?
Like
Concert.
here in Canada or
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Oh, professional.
Yeah,
It
because
was
you've been
in-
singing since 3, right?
Yeah,
But when were you professionally on the
Actually,
stage?
professionally, it was when I was doing my masters.
Yeah.
And before that, it was like, yeah, I was performing, but not as a lead artist or
Yes.
not as a paid artist.
Mhm.
So it was in Chandigarh. And when I was doing my masters, and there was only 3 or 4 musicians, and I was slightly late for the concert because it was nearby from the university campus, but we were grabbing my attire for the concert, but the attire was there, so I just sat with the pant and shirt and sang with harmonium. It was
How old were you?
at that time.
Yeah.
It was like 22.
So 22 till
Yeah,
now, you've
yeah.
been, this is your life. You perform all around the world. And I mean
Yes.
everywhere. Like, it's not just Canada.
It is.
All around the world you perform.
Yeah, we last year we performed in Australia, 7 cities in Australia, then 4 cities in New Zealand, then 16 cities in the United States of America, and recently in February and March, 7 cities in the United Kingdom, and now 8 cities here in Canada, and then yeah,
When you're on the stage,
yeah.
because I know I get to be on the stage sometimes, not a lot of times as much as you, but I get to be on the stage. I'm in awe when you look at the faces, right? And I'm like not even a superstar. So I'm thinking for you to know all these people have bought tickets to come see you, because your shows are always sold out. Do you stand on stage and you look at, like, what are your thoughts when you see all these people, they've come to see you? After
Yeah.
so many years, they still keep coming back.
Yeah, when I see people who bought the tickets and sometimes they live in Brampton, Malton, and Mississauga and came all through the way to downtown with their children, wives, and parents sometimes, and parking their cars somewhere, paying the parking also and all that, and having time for my concert, that's a huge deal for me. And that is a huge burden on my shoulders to satisfy them, like, oh, okay, I have to entertain them because the major purpose of show is entertainment. Then if I'm saying like something good, something cultural, religious sometimes, and linguistically if it's rich, then it's my own achievement. And I do respect every single soul who step in the concert hall. And I asked in majority of the time, oh, are you liking this song or should I just stop and start the next song? that's how I deal with the people, and that's my style, you may say.
Yeah. So let's go back. I
Yeah.
was mentioning earlier, you started singing at the age of 3, which I was like, I can't believe age of 3. Like, what was I doing at 3? I think I was probably like playing somewhere I was shouldn't. You found your talent at such a young age. So talk about those early days. Did your family say, we see a talent in you? Like, this is something you're going to do professionally? Or did people just say, he's just singing for the family for now, just for the local city?
Being a professional artist, it was so late, like in my 20s when I start performing. But before that, it just happened. Like Almighty is showing something artistic to you, and my background is totally hardcore farming
Mm.
background, and I did farming with my hands, and I'm very proud of that
I
too.
didn't know you actually did farming.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
No, no, I'm a hardcore farmer,
Yeah.
and I'm so proud of that. Even when I was walking on the red carpet in Cairns, and I said that, okay, I'm a farmer guy, and they clapped on that. Yeah. So I was in class third. Actually, there's a misinterpretation. Like I was third, but I was in class third, so I might be like age of 5 or 6. Then I started like in some, village gurdwara, when
Mm.
in your school, when some festivals and some programs, or in your village or district. Then I was competing in the district level competition, and I won. And then after the 10th grade, when I was like, you may say 14, 15, uh, I started my actual education of music,
Mm.
training of music. And then there was a 5 year diploma of Indian classical, North Indian classical vocal, and I did that. Then I started my graduation with music honors. And then it is like, okay, I'm on the track now,
Mm.
because my main aim was to be a professor of music, and that was my dream, like,
Mm.
to do doctorate in that. And then I did my bachelor with music honors and masters, Punjab University campus, Chandigarh. That's the capital of the state of Punjab in India, northern India. And then I did my MPhil, and particularly Sufi, Punjabi Sufi music. Then I did my doctorate, PhD, in the entire Sufi dilemma uh, uh, of East, like you may say, Iran, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Turkey, Pakistan, Hindustan,
Mm-hmm.
etc., etc.
So, but while you're getting your education, did you ever think, I'm going to become this star? I'm going to be somebody who albums are constantly selling out. You have 9. People are lucky if they get one. You have 9, right? And each one
Yeah,
is a success.
yeah,
You're touring,
yeah.
you're now acting. You have so much ahead of you, but you've already accomplished so much. So, was that your goal when you were studying? You're like, that is going to be my mission, or were you like, I'm just going to
Actually,
teach music here?
yeah, no, I never thought like I could be a performer, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just happened suddenly, because my main aim was education and to
Mm.
teach. And in 2003, I started teaching to the master classes that I just did before a year. And I said I accomplished my mission,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. I'm teaching in the university campus, and that is my dreamland. Still, it is. And and then when I was doing doctorate, it's a long process to research. For me, 2 years was MPhil and 3 years was PhD. So 5 years, I sat in university and was researching for Sufism. And then I came to know to the Sufi poets. I learned Persian language.
Mm-hmm.
I did certificate course and diploma and got gold medal. And I was so fluent in that because some of Irani friends were studying in the university campus in Punjab, and I was used to speak in the Persian to them, and I was so glued to that language too. That's why my attire and all that thing is very inspired from Iranian culture.
Mm-hmm.
So suddenly, when I was studying poets, and I start writing and rhyming and composing, and I said, okay, it's happening suddenly. And I just start reciting to my friends, okay, this is what I just write. And they said, okay, it sounds good. And when I have bunch of the songs, and they said, okay, let's have a small mehfil, a concert where you can perform these on stage. I said, okay. And then slowly, slowly in university, we started singing. Slowly, slowly, that gathering 20 to 50 to 100 to 500. And in Punjab, it was like a buzz. Okay, there's a guy who is slightly different. He's singing his own poetry in a very different manner, because in Punjab people are dancing and playing dhol and
Mm-hmm.
etc. But I was singing and with harmonium and sitting, and I was a bhangra player, a dancer, and I represented India as a dancer and won the best dancer as well. But they said, "What are you doing? Like this is not the current scenario of Indian music, especially Punjab." And I said, "No, I can do only this, and I am not very much interested to be professional singer. I have my job, and I'm very much satisfied with that. This is just my, uh, you can say, layer kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing." So I was doing etc. etc.
That's amazing. So, when was the moment where people said, you know what, not, you can't just teach, you have to be a performer, like you have to put out an album, you have to do this?
It was 2008 when I got call from here, especially this city, Toronto.
Oh, really?
Yes, that
Oh, Toronto, making your life so different.
actually, I say it to the entire globe, to the media, like, okay, Toronto is the city who made me from Satinder to Sartaaj.
Wow.
And they said, okay, we heard you on YouTube, this song, Filhal Hawa Mein Room Diya, or this and that, and this sounds good. We need you to come here and perform for Canadian Punjabis. And I said, okay, I can. And I was so happy, honestly. Then I wrote some songs ਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਦੇਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਚ ਰੱਬ ਛੇਤੀ ਹੀ
Mm-hmm.
ਕਰਾਊ ਬੱਲੇ ਬੱਲੇ ਲਾਲਾ ਢੋਲਕੀ ਨੂੰ ਆਟਾ ਪਾਲਾ ਪੰਜੇ ਉਂਗਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਛੱਲੇ. So in April 2009, 9th of April, I landed here in Pearson International, and on 11th of April, my first album released here in Roy Thompson, and from 2nd of May 2009, I started performing here in Canada. I came for 8 concerts, but I performed 18 sold out concerts on the same year. Yeah, and one
Wow.
tour. And in Vancouver, there was a record still. It was sold out in 29 minutes. Yeah, people were just gathering in the, sunshine
Mm-hmm.
and grabbing tickets. And I had 5 sold out shows here in Toronto, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Friday, Saturday, and 3 sold out in Vancouver, then 2 in Edmonton, 2 in Calgary, 2 in Victoria, and many others. So,
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying. Like, there's something about you that people really love and appreciate. And then
yeah.
it's so nice to meet you in real life and see that you're so humble. And I think
Uh,
that keeps people
oh,
enjoying
thank
you
you.
because
So,
you're good to your fans, you're good to people. So people want to work with you, they want to keep coming to see you.
honestly, it's in my nature. I'm not forcefully doing this. If I'm doing that purposely,
Mm-hmm.
that is achievement. But I am basically like this. I
Mm-hmm.
have to, if I have to be high-headed, I have to do some efforts for that.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, in general, this is my basic nature. Like if someone is coming in India, especially in Delhi, when you just finish this concert sometimes, and your car is just running on the roads, and some followers, lovers, or fans,
Mm-hmm.
they are just on bikes and
Pursuing you, following
saying you're
you.
following us. And I always 100% ask to the driver, okay, parked it aside, and it's gonna only 5 minutes to click
Mm-hmm.
the pictures. Why not?
Yeah.
Like if they got hurt because they are doing the bikes on 120 kilometer 100
Mm-hmm.
kilometers per hour, so it's dangerous for them also. So what else if we can spend only 3 or 5 minutes for them? And yeah, this is how I
I like
treat
that
people.
because
Yeah,
I always say you're in such a special position that people chase you like that,
yeah.
right? It's like for someone to do that, that means they have very much love and respect for you. So that
even
makes it
even today,
special.
the hotel I'm staying, and there was some people who stayed here especially,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if they can have a picture with me. And
Oh.
yeah, some of them called to my brother and they said, we can wait one more day if he is tired or he
Mm-hmm.
cannot come, this and that. I said, oh my god, no, no, why not? I just realized like someone is waiting for you, and I went downstairs and met them, and yeah, that's it.
Amazing. Okay, so let's actually talk about what I think
Yeah.
has made you very special. Because I was asking, people that I know listen to your songs all the time, and they were saying that your lyrics is what they really love, right? That the way
Absolutely.
you're able to be very emotional. Can you talk about that process? Because I think that's something that you must just have a talent for, to be able to say something, a message, and say it in such a beautiful way that it touches people. It really does.
Honestly, I mean, it's poetry is just a blessing. You cannot create it. You can only polish it.
Mm-hmm.
If you find here in Toronto or in anywhere in the world, especially in India, there are schools of music, there are schools of painting, there are schools of dance.
Mm-hmm.
architects and everything, every art. You have schools, but you cannot find a single school of poetry.
You can't.
That means you cannot teach poetry. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot learn poetry. It just happens to you, or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it happens to me in 2002 and 3 when I was just reading the Sufi poets, the mysticism of East, especially Rumi, Firdausi, and all
Mm-hmm.
those. And yeah, you just felt something, there was a spark and that just burned out,
Mm-hmm.
and you start writing. And I always say that these are not mine songs. These songs are just happened through me. That's that's the beauty.
Mm-hmm.
That's my fate, you may say. But it's just Almighty, and it's just the people who are the inspiration for these behind.
So does it literally just hit you? Like you'll be sitting, something will come to you, or do you actually have a process where you sit down and have a way to get that inspiration?
Majority of the time it just happens suddenly, like, okay, I'm in flight, I was looking outside, there was a, if you're flying over BC, is the most gorgeous place on earth
Yeah.
actually. So you may feel, oh my goodness, what the
Mm-hmm.
nature is. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if you see a crying girl, I said, oh, kudiye roya na karne to ben.
It's
So
probably
this,
me.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm getting emotional, and then you'll
uh,
be like, don't.
uh,
But see, if you said it to me in a beautiful way, I probably would stop crying.
uh,
That's the key, how to win women over. Let me ask you, when I was looking up all your success, I was like, okay, commercial success.
no,
Obviously, it's nice, right? You
it
get
is.
a lot of benefits with it. You get to travel, you get money, you get to make this your career.
Yeah.
Is that what you pursue? When you're making music, when you're putting out anything new, do you think, okay, this is going to be a commercial success? Or do you make music for you? Sometimes it doesn't go the same direction,
I
right?
know.
You can make
I
music for
know.
you, but nobody else
Yeah,
wants it, right?
it's
So
very
it's a fine
it's
line.
very critical, tricky question. And but if I say, my personal answer is, people will not believe, definitely, because they say, oh, no, no, he's just lying. Because people, especially singers and lyricists and composers and music directors, are always make the music to for the market and to sell. But in general, the song, what I personally like, and I do feel that people will realize and correlate their lives. That's what I used to record professionally
Mm-hmm.
in the studio. In general, you can sing whatever, but when you are releasing something professionally, officially, that means something else. So majority of the time, for me, it does not matter, like, will it be a success or not, because for me, my priority is stage performances always, and still it is, and it will definitely till my last breath. And when I choose song to release officially, I always feel like, if I sing this on stage, what people will feel. Will they like correlate with their own lives, like put sade पैरां ते खलोए के नहीं,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. Otherwise, you can make a just heavy beat song and do dance, and you may say, okay, it's a rave now. My songs have never get that kind of views or likes,
Mm-hmm.
so on social medias in general,
Mm-hmm.
and I never see behind. When we release the song, sometimes people said like, oh, you have that million views on that song. I said, oh, really? Okay, I never checked that.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, I
Okay.
never,
Because some
honestly.
artists, that means a lot to them to say, oh, in one day, this song got a million hits, right?
Yeah,
Like, I'm sure you've seen artists that will say that. So for
yeah.
you, you release it and you go take it?
Fortunately, I don't think in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a fortunate, honestly. The people who think in that way, that's also right, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a commercial thing, and you are doing things for a market, for people. It should be a hit. But as I said, I'm fortunately, I think like totally to the other way. But in spite of all, when I do live concerts, people come for like 4 concerts continuously, 5 concerts. Look, even here, if I'm performing here in Toronto
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, and if I'm performing on Sunday in Ottawa, the same people will fly to Ottawa and they will buy the front
Wow.
row ticket and will see the concert. That's the beauty and forte of our concert, I think, and that's what I mean for.
That's amazing. I'm glad you actually are like this because I find with some artists, it's very easy to get stuck in the social media bubble
Yeah.
where you start, because it's so immediate. So you go, okay, you post a photo and are people reacting? And if they don't react the way you want, then you start feeling bad about yourself, right?
I
And that
know.
can affect, because you're an artist, you have to let it just naturally come to you. And I think
Yes.
it would impact the way you'd come up with your new
Being
material.
a creative artist, it's a huge deal,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a most expensive gift you ever get.
Is it?
It is. And if you're not taking care of your art you are blessed with from the Almighty, then
Mhm.
you are ruining yourself.
That's true.
You have to be artistic all the time. You have to be welcoming the things the Almighty is showering on you and portray it as the raw form. Are you getting it? Like my song Hamza and many others. And the beauty of those songs, I'm not saying because it's written by me and sung by me or composed by me. I'm just generally saying if I am not, I'm listening my songs sometimes as a some other guy, like as a viewership or as an audience, and said, "Oh, this is nice.
Mm-hmm.
That symbolism in Jalsa. Okay, this portray in this way, it's beautiful. The beauty of these songs, I'm not saying my songs, the beauty of these songs,
Mm-hmm.
they are everlasting. If
Mm-hmm.
you are listening these songs, even Sai, it released in 2008 and 9, and after 10 years, it's that refreshing as
Mm-hmm.
well. And I assume it will definitely after 50 years too.
So after 9 albums now, I'm wondering, do you ever look at all the albums and sit down and go, okay, as an artist, I've grown? Do you ever critique yourself?
In albums or in recordings, I never critique myself. Never ever,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I'm not very much interested in to sing in studios, like putting headphones
Mm-hmm.
on and okay, music director saying okay, take. As I told you, I'm a live performer,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I love basically. I always measure my own art when I'm on stage. And I see sometimes my videos, okay, it was in 2014 when I was performing in Toronto. This was the show. This song I sung like little, okay. But this time it was brilliant
Mm-hmm.
because I think we grow, my team grew uh, very much technically too,
Mm-hmm.
because stage is a very technical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sound equipments to manage it properly, lights, production, and your own
Mm-hmm.
instruments, playing that properly, your miking, your this and that, your conversation to the people and all that. I think in that way, I think I grew a little.
You're in, I think, one of the best businesses, music business.
It is.
So obviously you've had your own success, but there's a number of other people in the industry. So who is your musical role model? Who do you look up to in the business?
I always looked up when Khan Sahib Marhum Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Sahib was
Mm-hmm.
alive, and
Mm-hmm.
still I am, because when I was in class 10, the very first time I heard Khan Sahib song Sanipal Chainavi, and I was so like, it was so alluring and very fresh and new for me, because before that I never heard that kind of classical music,
Mm-hmm.
vocals in my life. And I said I want to be like him, and my the teacher said, and he just laughed on me. Okay, you want to, his parents and grandparents are singing from 600 years. That's why Khan Sahib is like this, and you have a farming background.
Mm-hmm.
How you can even think about this? I said,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, I want to learn music like him,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to be like him. So it was Khan Sahib, Nusrat Sahib, always.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What about some of the other artists that are maybe more
Uh,
current? Anyone?
Current is Arijit Singh.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
love him.
he is just that charisma in his voice
Mm-hmm.
that you cannot get rid of
Mm-hmm.
anytime. Like if he's singing somewhere in radio or car or stage or whatever, you will listen and you will glued to his
Mm-hmm.
voice, what he's singing. Even then, he is not a lyricist. Probably he sometimes compose himself, but he sings only. Even then, it's a huge deal. Like if you are only performing as a vocalist and you're putting that much effort
Mm-hmm.
and that much sense to in that composition and lyrics, that's something very divine.
So if we were to catch you listening to, let's say, music, like in your car, who would we hear? Who do you listen to? Like maybe
uh
every day.
in general, honestly, I do not listen much music.
Oh, you
I
don't?
yeah, I
You're like, I'm surrounded by music. No,
yeah, no,
silence
I
only.
used to read much.
Oh yeah.
than the music. But if I have to, in general, I don't play myself. If my in my car and driver or the manager playing
That'd be
something,
really funny if you
yeah,
did.
and they are playing in majority of the time in my car. There's a Turkish instrumental music,
Okay.
so you can relax, you can
Mm.
feel the nature and the farms and the trees. So if there's word, because being a poet, if there's a song, I will be like so much uh, to understand what he's saying, why
Mm.
he is saying, what is the symbol in that
Mm.
poetry and that. So I avoid to listen to music,
Mhm.
especially songs. I just listen instrumental music,
Mhm.
so you can just be in your own aura and era, and you can think even then while you are listening something. Even then you are a creative artist. Yeah.
Okay, I think you probably have a good story. What is the craziest thing a fan has done to meet you? Because I've heard some good stories from other artists where like fans will try to sneak in with like the serving staff, or they'll like try to like pretend they work at a venue and try to break in that way. So do you have a funny story, a crazy story of what a fan's done to meet you?
I would not say that crazy stories. That's the affectionate way for me, actually. Whatever your admirers do. Uh,
But you know how some fans go the extreme to meet you, right? Like they will
yeah.
go above and beyond.
Sometimes in Punjab, in Chandigarh, where I reside, sometimes they come daily from morning to evening, and they are just buzzing the.
At your house?
Yeah.
How do they find out where you live?
It's
Is
very
this well known?
easy.
So if I go to Chandigarh and I say, where is this home? They'll be like, oh, right there, madam.
Yeah, yeah. It's if you are a people's person and a celebrity, or you may say like a general figure that is like slightly famous, people can find, okay, he's right here sometimes. Oh, he lives here. Yeah, it's very easy
Yeah.
to find your residence, but it's not that easy to enter in the residence, obviously. But yeah,
Well, not unless you climb the wall,
yeah. Climb the
you
wall.
know?
Yeah, sometimes people say, "Oh, we are doing part," sometimes
Yeah.
to so we can meet you.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Gurdwara and pray. Okay, if we can, have a picture with him or that, and that's so touchy and
Yeah.
so heart melting.
It
Honestly,
is.
yeah, it is.
That's very sweet. Okay, so next time I come to Chandigarh, I'm going to come visit you, okay? So have
Definitely,
that
you're
cha
most
ready.
welcome.
Adhik cha too. I don't want regular cha, I want adhik cha. I'll bring my mom too. My mom's a
Adrakcha,
big
okay,
fan.
perfect.
So obviously, it's cool that you've had all this singing success, but I'm really proud
Yeah,
that you took the challenge of saying, I'm going to now do acting.
yeah,
So last year,
yeah,
we had a chance to see you on your promotion tour for The Black Prince.
yeah.
I saw the film and I had told you, I was like, I didn't know what to expect. Like, not only did that film educate me on such an important figure,
Yeah.
Maharaja Duleep Singh, which, I wish the story was taught more often, especially to kids here, because it's such a tragic story,
It
really.
is.
So I was like, wow, this is part of our history.
Yeah.
So you took on this important, very difficult character in a story that is everyone knows.
Wasn't easy to play. I was getting proposal for films from 2009 and 10 when
Mm.
I came to the limelight from here, the Canada tour.
Mm. What kind of movies? Like Punjabi roles, I'm guessing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in general,
What
because
kind
they
of roles
know.
were they offering you? Were they like
Yeah, they
heartthrob
said this
or?
story is particularly written for you, and this is very suitable for you. You can portray this, you can do that. Your songs are very befitting in the story also. But because I knew I cannot act, because during the music videos, when the director said, "Okay, there's a sad emotion," and I said, and they said, "Oh, it's not getting any sad."
Really? Because I think you're good at doing that
No,
sad
and
face.
I knew that I am not an actor, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not that good at all on the camera to portray emotions. But when this role came to me, I have to reconsider, because it was a huge deal. And for me, history and historical buildings and all these are the most fascinating things for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, this is the time. You can see many things, you can portray so many things, and you can tell the actual hidden, darkest story of our history, especially Sikhism and Punjabis. And that will show to the entire globe. And it's the opportunity I have to, reveal these things. Then uh, I
And they picked you. I remember the
yeah,
director told me
because I was
that they
touring
thought of
Northern
you
America
immediately.
from 2010. I toured states, and I did 18 concerts, and from there till last year November, I'm touring states,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the wealthy and known Sikh and Punjabi families residing in Los Angeles, and they are very much influenced in the mainstream Hollywood film industry. Even November Man, the film of Pearson Brosnan, the James Bond, and there was a main producer was a Sikh guy. If you see the titles after the films, but majority of the people don't. So they said, okay, some of my friends and circles and are from a community. When they heard like, okay, there's a film going on, Maharaja leaves him because it's an international story. It's about Queen Victoria. Obviously, it's very fascinating towards entire globe. And they said there's a guy who is very much familiar to the Maharaja. His eyes and skin tone and height and everything, and his era on stage is very Maharaja kind of. Attire is very much royal and kind of. And they, obviously they uh, approached to me, and I went to Los Angeles, Bilstein Entertainment Partners in their office, and they said like, okay, this is a story, we need you to play. And I was very honestly, I'm not an actor, because if you see me in the music videos, your director gonna kill me. Okay, what the hell he's doing in his films? And they said, no, we watched everything, we see the actor in you, but you just need to be learn something
A little
particularly.
polish, probably, yeah.
Yes. Then after that, I went to Mumbai acting school, and there was a great teachers. The entire Bollywood industry.
Did you go to the famous acting school that everyone goes to?
Yes. Majority, Indian film industry like Hrithik Roshan's, Kareena Kapoor, Ajay Devgan, and many others. They went to the same
And look
school.
at them. So that's like pretty good. To
It
be
is,
at that
it is,
school.
and they taught me very well, and they actually taught me in a very like shanked time.
2 weeks? Are we talking
Yes,
a month?
yes. 2 weeks, 18 days actually.
2 weeks they turned you an actor.
Yeah.
There you go,
Actually,
folks.
yeah. They didn't. You may say they didn't teach me. They just said how to adopt an character. If you're portraying someone, then you have to make a bone structure of a character, and you have to learn every single thing about him: where he born, what he studied, what is his friend circle, what is his financial status, what is his social status, etc., etc. Then when you will portray him, everything will work accordingly. Even your fingers will, move accordingly. If you're royal, your blink will be.
Is this the royal hand right here?
It
Is that what
is.
we're doing?
It is. Yeah,
We
it
do
is
too.
royal. Yeah, and then your eyes and lashes will speaks itself. Okay, I do not care, I am a king, kind of thing. So yeah, this is how it happens.
That's amazing. So it's unbelievable that you got this amazing role because most actors.
And you watched the film.
I did.
How
Well,
you
I had
find
to
it?
come out a couple of times to do interviews.
So
I'm
was
always
it
working.
good? Like,
It was amazing. The part that I really didn't like was the end. I
Oh,
wanted
no.
a happy ending.
Really?
You disappointed me there. I was like, but we have to have a happy ending. It's an Indian story. And
It is Indian
even though I
story.
know in real life, I thought maybe you would put some masala on there and, make
We
it a little
must.
bit.
Yeah.
But it made me sad because I was rooting for him. And then I was like, he didn't
but
get
but
his
that was the
last
true
wish.
story. If we cannot alter at all because it was
know.
a true story, so we have to do
Plus,
that.
I'm saying, what a great role for you to get because it wasn't just, play a version of yourself or play this cookie cutter actor. You had to take a real life person, somebody famous, who's no longer around, so you can't even ask them, and learn about them and the mannerisms. Like, you're royal.
Yeah.
You need to learn how. I think there's a dance and there's like a bunch of things too.
Yeah.
You have to learn how they dance. They don't dance like how we dance now.
Not at all.
The way the costumes are, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
just so many things that's not just the role. You have to learn everything around it. And I was like, it was a tough role, but great that you took it on because I think it was the challenge you needed.
Honestly, it was the toughest, even for the trained actors. If you are getting Leonardo DiCaprio, sir, or Al Pacino, or Robert De Niro, sir, or Denzel Washington, or whoever, they obviously they can do anything. But for me or mine kind of newcomer actors, it was the toughest because it was the darkest and very much underplaying kind of character. Subtle.
And by
acting.
the way, you're in the movie like I think 99% of the time, so you don't
Yeah.
even get a break. Every
Every
scene
single
has you
scene
in
was,
it.
yes, I was in every single scene. Majority, 3 or 4 scenes are where I am not in the scene. But yeah, to portray that subtleness in the camera, it's the toughest basically. If you, as you said, the cookie cutter kind of thing, like if you're loud, okay, hey, this, I'm here, this,
Yeah.
and shooting this,
Yeah.
that's so easy to do
Mm.
on camera.
Mm.
But if you're not saying much, if you're just
Yeah.
observing and just you're listening to Queen Victoria and Maharani Jind Kaur and saying something to your eyes with your eyes, and then it's the hardest, because when you get Oscars and best actors and kind of thing, they only see your eyes. Are they speaking or not? Otherwise your hands can speak, your feet can speak, your head can speak, shoulders can speak, everything, but your eyes
Eyes,
cannot.
yeah.
Honestly, if your eyes are speaking on the camera, then it's a huge deal, then it's considered you a good actors. Then I grab not grab I just got three best actors awards in Houston and San Diego and London.
Well
Yeah,
deserved, by the way, because your acting was actually really, really good.
yeah, you
Like, you
have
didn't
to
think you were
be
watching you.
subtle, and slowly you're growing up, and from submissiveness you're going to outrageous and outspoken.
Yeah. So what a great role for you to have. When you took it on, also, did you feel, was there ever a moment you felt pressure that somebody on your team say, this is too challenging a role? Like, what if it doesn't go well? Like, there might be a backlash. Like, was there ever any fear of taking on such a
No, my team
responsibility?
was very much enthusiastic for me, and they said, "Oh, you are the perfect person for this character." I said, "Really? Okay." I was very much,
So
eased
everyone's
way.
saying you're perfect. So did you put pressure on yourself to be like,
But
everyone thinks I'm going to do
no,
this?
honestly, the very first time, because I wasn't allowed to see the monitor
Okay.
during the shoot,
Yeah.
because there was a acting coach. Her name was D. Cannon. She is a very much famous acting coach in Hollywood, and she was my dialect and acting coach. During every single scene, she was preparing me. Okay, do not this, do not do this. Okay, listen to him, and just see this. And I wasn't allowed to see the monitor after the scene. But one day I just, teased them, and I went quickly and see the monitor what I'm looking like.
Yeah.
As I see that, I said, "Oh, my hair is here, my coat is not okay, my tie wasn't tied well." And as a youngster, you see only yourself, okay, for looking good or not.
Yeah.
You are not looking, you're acting.
Yeah.
And after that, there was a mid shot, and then there was a tight frame on your close up, your face. And when they said action, and my face was blank, and they said, "Okay, there's nothing emotion in your face. Previously on the master stroke and even the mid shot it was, and what happened now?" Because I wasn't thinking the scene or my character or what I'm doing here, and I was thinking, okay, am I looking good or not? And it like changed a lot.
It
It
does.
it affects a lot. After that, I never
You
have
become
seen.
self-conscious.
Yes, conscious. Yeah. After that, I never have seen that monitor. I said, even when the film was finished, they said it's on a editing period. You may come and suggest yourself. Okay, what do you think? I said, no, I do not want to see any single scene of this film. Just edit it and release it. I will see it in the cinema in India.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is how it happens.
Can I tell you a little secret? I do the same thing. I don't usually watch my interviews because then
Okay.
I start dissecting. I don't even listen to it. I go, why is there a garbage can in the back? Why is it windy? Why did I wear those clothes? So it's funny. You end up not paying attention to the
Yes,
actual
yes, that's
content.
the only
So
way, honestly,
that's
for
the
a creative
secret.
artist. Yes.
Yeah, I think everyone in the business, you just can't watch it. You have to just, they would say purosarak, like do the, shoot it and let it go out there. So then let's talk about that. The first time you actually got to see yourself on the big screen.
Yes.
Tell me about that moment.
It was in United States of America, California. It was a festival. I don't remember what the festival name was, but I'm very sorry about that.
You didn't get a private screening beforehand just for you. You had to
No,
watch it with everybody
no,
else.
it was a festival screening,
Uh-huh.
and the entire cinema was full. Majority of the Americans were there. Only some, few 50 or 60 people, Indian, were there. And I was on the back seat, on the last seat, and I was watching the first scene. I said, "Come," and then the entire film, played, and I said, "Oh, it was really good.
Yeah.
Oh, we did good job," because with the background score, that enhance much, to the scenes. And sometimes your close-ups, you think you are not good to, but on camera sometimes it did work very well. and majority of the scenes, as you said in the end, when I was portraying Dilip is dying in Paris in his 53 or 5, and those scenes were very touching because when we put songs behind the scenes, they enhance the scene a lot. So yeah, it was
Yeah, we should
very
mention that you also have your songs in the background as well for a lot of the scenes. So you're
yes.
everywhere in that movie. That's really, really cool. You're at a point where very easily people would understand if you were like, you know what, I've done my hard work. I'm going to sit back, do my album. I'm going to do the stuff that I'm used to doing. Never challenge yourself. You took on this role, like we mentioned, not an easy role, and you kind of gave yourself that challenge, but it was a risk. So do you consider yourself a risk taker?
Not at all. I do not believe in risks or whatever. I honestly believe to do things that will remain after you. So if you consider it a risk thing, you may say I'm a risk taker. But I don't do just a random thing that's just past formula. Okay, if you do this, you will get these views, you will get these shows, you will get this money, and you will just get this fame. But I think opposite. Not purposely. It's inherited me. I nurtured accordingly, I think. And for me, okay, if I'm selecting my own songs for my own album, that will be like entirely different, and the non-commercial, honestly, majority of them. But I do that with very much effort and with 100%. I am a perfectionist kind of, OCD kind of person. Okay, this music should be like this video should be like this. But the basic art is not very commercial sometimes. But I don't think it's a risk thing. It's art, you know, because it's the interviews in English, but there are so many quotes in Punjabi that I can portray by myself. Like, this is how I think, and this is
You
how
can
it
give us a
works.
quote or two. We'll teach our listeners some Punjabi.
Okay, there was a two liners like ਲੱਭ ਲੈਣਗੇ ਆਪੇ ਹੀ ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਤੋੜ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਓਏ ਤੇਰੀ ਵੀ ਸਰਤਾਜ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਓਏ ਪਰ ਜਿਸਨੇ ਪੀਣੀ दारू ਉਸਨੇ ਕਾਵਾ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਾਹਦਾ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਦਾਵਾ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ.
You're very lucky to have this gift because I feel like
It
every
is.
time you get into an argument with somebody,
Yeah.
you probably have a way of saying something like this, and then
That's it.
they're no longer angry at you,
Yeah,
right?
the water is settled.
Yeah, you must be somebody in your family that they can never get mad at, right? They'll start yelling at you, and then you'll come up with something, a wonderful
Something
line,
and
and they'll be like,
singing and
"Oh, you're right, you're right." Actually, let's talk about your family. Your family? Who are you closest to?
To my mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you heard the song Ammi, listen that song in there's subtitles if you need, and you will feel when you are away from your home how it feels like, because all the time I was in hostel Punjab University, and I was away from my hotel home, so it was like
It's hard, yeah.
Race,
So then let's talk about sacrifices. So to live the life that you have,
yeah.
is that the biggest sacrifice, being away from family, or are there other sacrifices you've had to do?
Yeah, there's another thing too. There's always two ways to think. The honestly, I am thinking a script to write on this topic particularly. It's called This or That. This is your own perception or mindset, how you think. If you're saying it, sometimes saying it's struggle. Some people says it's a sacrifice, and some people says, oh, it was a polishing time. It was a when you are blossoming inside and you're about to open. So for me, it's always two ways. Sometimes if I have to give you an example, people says, okay, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And some people says, out of sight, out of mind.
That's true. Yeah, that's two ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
Which one is it then?
So it's your own perception. Some people says, okay, out of sight, out of mind. Some people say, oh, he's not here. No, I'm very much missing him or her. You kind of. So for me, it's always positive. I never say it was a struggling period. I never say it was a sacrifice. I said, oh, this was a beautiful way to grow and to achieve things. Yeah.
But you do sometimes, I think people in your position, there's that balancing act, right? Because on one hand, the more you grow as an artist, the more appreciation, the more success, it allows you to have a better life, right? You get to have better homes, create a better life for your family, for your future kids. You're set, right? But then on the other hand, you have lack of privacy. Like you said, people coming to your home. I'm sure wherever you go, you can't just walk down the street, people
Not at
see you,
all.
right? Then,
Yes, yeah.
you're on tour. I don't know if you can bring your family with you, but
Yeah.
sometimes you can't, right?
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like that fine line of how do you balance it? So how do you balance it? What do you do to make sure that, okay, I want to continue growing and have success, but not at the expense where it's harming me or I feel like I'm not able to live the life I want? Like, do you miss that? Being able to walk down the street, no one knowing who you are?
Yeah, there are pros
Go to
and cons
McDonald's with that
obviously
in
for
mind?
everything. Yeah, there are some positive and negative things for everything, but you cannot have everything in this one life. You are not almighty, you are not God. So you have to manage, honestly. Manage is the actual perfect word. You have to manage life. If you're getting so much love and affection from the fans, what if you cannot walk on street alone and having coffee or whatever? What if? But look at the amount and affection you are getting from the people. So it's just the way you are thinking. So I never think like that. If I'm not getting the time to create something, these times I have like long flights, 15 hours flight, 16 hours flight. You're
Yeah.
16 hours continuously, you can write 7 songs
That's
in a
true.
take. So this is up to you, what you want to do, basically. So you have to manage accordingly, I think.
So has there ever been a moment in your career when you look back and you go, okay, I wish I could redo that moment?
I always miss my university days, obviously. So those were the golden moments for me, and
Yeah.
very blossoming years. And I still go to there. And now, very fortunately, I am the brand ambassador of the same university campus to the globe.
Are you?
Yeah,
That's so
they
nice.
consider me as a brand ambassador. I am a honorary professor there, and yeah, for me that's a great achievement.
Oh, you've already done so much, already 9 albums. I keep saying this because I know artists don't get to make that many. So I'm like, you're very blessed that at such a young age,
Yeah.
like your mid 30s, that you've done so much. So then let's look forward. In another 10 years, where do you want to see yourself? And then another 20 years, where do you want to see yourself?
I just want to be uh, grow and walk and fly all the time. I don't want to be stable, because sky is the limit, as you say.
Yeah.
So I want to be a student all the time. I learn things. I want to be visit the countries I never, like Iran is still my dream country.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just have a great affection and admiration for that country, of that culture and language and all that, because of poetry and Sufism and mysticism, maybe. Yeah, I want to see uh, more cultures. I want to learn more languages. I want to sing along with like country music of America, Turkish,
Really?
Yeah, so yeah, I want to do that kind of experiments with this. I want to represent my own culture and language to the globe. I want to be representative so I can tell to the globe in their own language, like, okay, there's a state called Punjab, and we have this kind of rich culture and language and music and attires and food and everything. So yeah, this is how I think.
Don't you think, since you started out though, that now the influence, I don't know if it's because of the internet or maybe because our artists like you are having so much crossover success, that there's more understanding and there's more excitement over learning about the culture versus when you started off, right? Because I think back, when I'm sure you were first traveling, people probably in some countries had never seen somebody with a turban,
Yeah.
probably didn't know what it means to be Sikh, the kind of music you do. And now, do you think that wherever you go in these new places that people are embracing and appreciating it?
Actually, recently I visited Thetford, Norfolk, England, when I was flying to Montreal for the very first concert on 7th of July in 2018. Before 2 or 3 days, there was a Thetford festival where Maharaja Dalip Singh used to live. There's a state called Alvadan Estate.
Okay.
It was owned by Maharaja Dalip Singh. Now it's owned by Guinness family, Guinness Book of World Record.
Mm-mm.
And they consider me as a guest of honor of that festival, of that city. I said, oh my God, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
For a turbaned brown guy from India and who is, considering as a guest of honor in the Thetford city in United Kingdom, and it's a huge deal for me. And there was a question and answer session. In England, there is a culture of question and answer. 100 people are sitting on chairs, and artist is here, and there's a one host, and they can ask anything on the spot. And it was like 1.5 hours session. And in the end, they said, "What is your one liner?" I said, I'm so much glad and very grateful to the British community and the white people who consider me as a guest of honor and who allow me to go to in their personal estate in Alvadan Estate. I'm one of the few Sikhs and Punjabis who visited Alvadan Estates inside. I see that house, and it's very overwhelming, and it's honorable moment for me. And my one liner is, let's go for the universal harmony.
Yeah.
Let's respect every single religion on this earth. Let's love every single color. Like if you're brown, white, black, or whatever. Absolutely. If you're any community, any language, any culture, you have to respect and love them, and they will bounce back the same to you.
Absolutely.
This is how the world will work now, because we are not living in the villages or cities or states or countries now. We are living in a global village now. It's one thing. What is happening here in Toronto, it will go to Delhi in 3-4 seconds with Google and net and everything. So where is the difference now? The culture is almost same. We are speaking almost one language. You can see, English was my fourth language, and now
it's your fourth language.
it is.
Wow.
So it's happening now.
Yeah.
You have to love and respect every religion, language, color, and culture, and then you can create a global, universal harmony.
Yeah. Let me ask you, if there was any non-Indian artist, anyone that you could share the stage with, who would it be?
As a singer?
Yeah. Because when you were saying that, I was thinking, why not do like a concert, embracing different backgrounds? So it's like you headlining with, let's say, some other artist, but not Indian, can't be South Asian.
Obviously. It could be Adele.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
it is. That's a great combination.
You guys have great emotions, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because when I was about to perform in Royal Albert Hall, London in 2014, someone sent me the video of Adele when her virgin performance was in the Royal Albert Hall, and she was a little scary and excited, and there was a video, and I saw, oh, she's gorgeous too, and she sings very well, and she grabs like many Grammys.
Yeah, I would love to see with like maybe somebody from the hip hop community or rap. I think it'd be just so different. Or country, like you were mentioning before.
Country, yeah, obviously.
Who's a country artist?
I don't know. Alan Jackson, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. I would like you to do this, please.
Yes.
I think it'd be cool to have the blend there. So
otherwise, Katy Perry's eyes are gorgeous, so I can. Yeah.
There you go, Katy Perry. Why not? And she's like a little bit more pop, so that'd be really, really cool. Before I let you go, there's obviously a lot of people that look up to you. So maybe we can leave the episode with some just words of wisdom. So for somebody who is aspiring to be a singer, what advice would you have for them?
Honestly, I mean, I don't think people do advice or need advice these days, because everybody is very much educated and know the world as I do.
But it's a tough business to break into, right?
It's just a blessing, honestly. It's nothing to do with or planning or whatever, because this kind of entertainment world is just something beyond imaginations and beyond plannings. So I would just not suggest, request actually, like, do the thing what do you think like you can do the best. don't go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think like, okay, this is in these days. I have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this is in, this will in for few days or weeks or month
Mm-hmm.
maximum.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing you can do your best, and only you can do the best, and that will remain forever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
There you go. And are we going to see you join more acting?
I definitely will consider, love to do films.
Maybe another historical piece.
No, I did the historical piece. Now I have to do some contemporary things,
Okay.
but slightly, you may say, offbeat or parallel cinema. That might consider as a mainstream cinema too, if
Mhm.
you're doing it properly and accordingly, like people can understand actually what I'm trying to say in a broader way.
So let's put it out there because I believe putting things on the universe,
Yeah.
then they happen, right? So let's talk about Dream Project with Dream co-star, Dream director, really quickly. What would it be?
Okay, dream co-star
Yeah.
is always Drew Barrymore.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. She's just gorgeous. I find her gorgeous.
You have a lot of time on flights. I feel like you're watching all these movies. You're like Drew
Yeah.
Barrymore, Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Dream
And
director.
dream director, he is retired, honestly.
We'll get him out of retirement for you.
But Steven Spielberg.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's fully retired. We can get him out. We
Oh,
can,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's call him.
Look at him. And what about like a dream role for you? So you said something contemporary. So what kind of would it be? Somebody like you? Would it be somebody Western? Somebody like Mission Impossible, jumping around, doing all these action
I'm
shots?
not an action kind of thing, but I do like historical, obviously, but dramas always. My favorite film still is The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Brad Pitt sir, and that is the toughest thing I think to do. But if I can be able, that would be like.
It's so great chatting with you.
Thank you.
And I look forward to our yearly reunions. So
yes,
please keep coming
definitely.
back to Toronto. Keep
I will.
visiting me.
Otherwise, come Chandigarh and
I
we
will.
will
I
sit
think
and
I
we will
will.
do our interview
Now
again.
that I know you live there, I'm
In
going to come for
Punjab
that shot.
University,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you better make that shot too.
Definitely.
No making someone
Adrak
else.
thing.
Adrak. Yeah, I like Adrak shot. Before I let you go, I'd love for you to serenade it a little bit. So could you maybe sing us a couple lines from something?
What would you like?
So who's an
Yeah.
artist that you like? Maybe you could sing.
Arijit, yeah.
Okay.
फिर ले आया है दिल मजबूर क्या कीजे रास ना आया रहना दूर क्या कीजे दिल कह रहा है उसे मुकम्मल कर भी आओ वो जो अधूरी सी चाह बाकी है वो जो अधूरी सी आह बाकी है फिर ले आया
Oh, thank you.